Hey everyone, welcome back. You know how we love to dig into the latest trends that are shaking things up? Well, today we're diving headfirst into something pretty incredible.
Definitely shaking things up.
It's all about custom ChatGPT chatbots and how they're basically rewriting the rules for HVAC businesses.
No kidding. This stuff is fascinating.
It really is. We found this podcast and it's got all the juicy details on how this tech is working its magic for HVAC companies and their customers. Honestly, it's a total game changer. We're talking 24/7 availability, instant answers, and personalized service like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, and that's what customers are demanding these days. It's a fast-paced world, and nobody wants to wait around for answers or struggle to find information.
You're telling me, so where do we even begin with this? For those who aren't totally tech savvy, what exactly is ChatGPT?
Okay, ChatGPT, in the simplest terms, is like a super smart computer program that can understand and generate human-like text.
Okay, that makes sense.
Think of it like having a conversation with a really knowledgeable friend who's an expert in all things HVAC.
A friend who can explain why my furnace is making that weird clunking noise. I could use one of those.
Exactly. And that's precisely what these custom chatbots can do for HVAC businesses. They can be trained on all the company's specific information services, pricing, FAQs, you name it.
So it's not just some generic bot spitting out canned responses.
No way! It's like having a virtual technician available 24/7 to answer any questions a customer might have.
Now, the podcast we dug into really emphasized the challenges HVAC business owners face, and it sounds like this ChatGPT thing is addressing those head on.
Oh, absolutely. The hosts talked about things like building trust with customers, being available around the clock, and standing out from the competition. These are huge hurdles.
Yeah, and they made the point that a traditional website just doesn't cut it anymore. Customers want instant gratification.
Right, and they want to feel like they're being heard and understood.
Okay, so let's break it down. How exactly is a ChatGPT chatbot making life easier for both HVAC companies and their customers?
Well, imagine you're a homeowner, and your AC goes kaput in the middle of a heat wave. It's late, you're panicking, and you don't know who to call.
Been there.
With a ChatGPT chatbot on the HVAC company's website, you can get instant answers to your questions, even if it's 3 a.m.
So no more waiting until business hours to get help.
Exactly. And that chatbot can do so much more than just answer questions. It can help you schedule a service appointment, get a quote, even troubleshoot simple
I'm
problems.
starting to see why the podcast hosts were so hyped about this.
It's like having a super efficient assistant who never sleeps.
And speaking of efficiency, the podcast also mentioned how ChatGPT can streamline lead capture for HVAC businesses.
Oh, yeah. They talked about how clunky contact forms are a thing of the past. Instead, the chatbot can gather information from customers through a natural conversation.
So it's a much smoother, less intrusive experience.
Right, and it feels more personal. Instead of filling out a bunch of fields, you're having a back and forth with the chatbot. It might ask about your location to provide a more accurate quote, or it might inquire about the age of your HVAC system to recommend the best service options.
That's clever.
It really is. And that personalization factor is key to creating a positive customer experience.
Now, I've got to admit, when I first heard about this, I was a little skeptical. I thought, wouldn't some people prefer to just talk to a real person?
I get that. But the podcast guest made a really interesting point. It's about meeting customers where they are. These days, people are used to doing everything: online shopping, banking, even getting medical advice.
And they want it done quickly and efficiently.
Exactly. So if they can get their HVAC questions answered or book a service appointment with a few clicks on a website, why wouldn't they?
Plus, let's be real, sometimes talking to a real person on the phone can be a bit intimidating, especially if you don't know much about HVAC systems.
Definitely. You might feel embarrassed asking what you think is a dumb question, or you might not be able to articulate the problem clearly. With a chatbot, you can take your time, think things through, and get the information you need without feeling pressured.
You know, I remember the podcast mentioning a study that found that a huge percentage of customer inquiries are actually repetitive, easily answerable questions.
Oh, yeah, I think it was something like 80%.
Which means that human agents are spending way too much time on tasks that a chatbot could handle.
Exactly. And that frees up those agents to deal with more complex issues that require a human touch.
So it's not about replacing human interaction altogether. It's about using technology to make things more efficient and provide better service.
Right. And it's about giving customers options. Some people might prefer to chat with a bot, while others might want to speak to a human. Having both available is the ideal scenario.
And let's not forget the marketing potential here. The podcast highlighted how ChatGPT can personalize messages based on customer interactions.
Oh, it's brilliant. Let's say a customer is asking about energy-efficient AC units. The chatbot can suggest relevant products or promotions, making the whole experience feel more tailored.
It's like having a super savvy salesperson who knows exactly what you need.
Exactly. Now, one thing the podcast didn't really dive into is how all of this impacts customer loyalty.
That's a good point.
If you think about it, if a chatbot provides a seamless, helpful experience, wouldn't that make a customer more likely to stick with that HVAC company?
For sure. Especially when you compare it to the frustration of being put on hold, transferred between departments, or dealing with unhelpful customer service reps.
Right. If a chatbot can eliminate those pain points, it could definitely be a loyalty booster.
I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're only beginning to scratch the surface of what custom ChatGPT chatbots can do for HVAC businesses.
Agreed. And it makes you wonder, what's next? How long until we see this technology being used in other industries?
It's an exciting time to be following this stuff.
No doubt. And who knows what kind of amazing advancements we'll see in the coming years. It's all about harnessing the power of technology to create a better customer experience and a more efficient business model.
That about wraps up our deep dive. We hope you enjoyed this journey into the world of ChatGPT and HVAC. And if this has got you thinking about the future of customer service, well, you're not alone. We're right there with you, eager to see what innovations are coming next. Thanks for listening.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.